Yes, team, what is up? I want to let you in on a little secret today. I want to talk to you about what 30k a month coaches know that you don't. And the good news, it's actually quite simple. If you learn and understand this, it makes growing your business straightforward. And why I say that is for a lot of coaches, they think they have so many problems with their business. But what I want you to understand is the game of business is infinite. So if you're chasing a perfect business, if you're chasing about having every single thing in place to make that business fully well-rounded, then it's something you're going to be chasing forever because no one has a perfect business. But that's the exciting thing about it because there's always going to be something for you to be working towards. So I never want you to feel that your business is stuck and you don't know what to do to move it forward, because when you understand this, you'll always know the next move you need to make. You don't want to be essentially diluting your focus across multiple things, because what ends up happening, scattered focus leads to mediocre results, and then ending up just having a business that's quite average overall in all these aspects. It's you identifying what is the biggest thing you need to focus on from these three areas. So I told you it was simple, and I wasn't lying, because I actually only want you to think about your business in three different buckets. We have leads, we have sales, and we have delivery. So that's essentially going to be the way that you look at your business. You either have lead issue, a sales issue, or a delivery issue. And this is why with our coaching and our clients, we have one clear promise in place that we help them with. We help them get leads every day, sales every week, and clients who stay for years. So that's essentially what we help our clients achieve. So with that in mind, it doesn't mean that we work on all those three components at once. We work out the one that is needed for them to move their business. And I'm going to give you some examples of that with clients of ours, giving you case studies so you can see which one is most relatable to you and what you need to think of at each and every stage. So firstly, when we look at leads, I want to talk to you about one of our clients, Ollie Hines. So Ollie's actually been part of the program for 2 years now. But when he came to us 2 years ago, I remember him messaging me. He was doing about 4 to 5k a month. He said he was plateaued there for 6 to 10 months. He was in a mentorship before. He had DM'd most people in his audience. He wasn't growing his audience and he was stuck. He's like, I've plateaued. I've been DMing people. I've been posting content and I don't really know what to do next. These were only the advice that I was given. Send DMs and post content, which don't get me started on that, but it's a very generic advice. And he didn't know what to do to grow his business. So just to ask you, do you think if we focus on sales and helping him get way better with his offer, way better with his sales goals, it would have moved the needle to him? It wouldn't have. If we worked on delivery, if I helped him with retention, results, upselling clients, do you think it would have moved the needle for him? No, it wouldn't. So his issue was all around leads. He essentially had a pipeline that had dried up, and yes, he would still make sales, I'm sure, with the audience he has, but it wasn't going to be consistent and it was going to keep him stuck in the position that he was in. So we had one very, very clear thing to do. We looked at Ollie's essential funnel like this, and we wanted to get new people coming in. So that was the goal for us. How do we get new people coming into his world? And that was our biggest focus. So since then, Ollie has close to 4x his income, getting close to 20k months. His following has over tripled because of those things that we are doing. So just to talk you through kind of the different stages that he would have had. So essentially the problem that Ollie faced was not enough new leads coming into his world. So not enough new leads coming into his world. The solution that we worked on was top of funnel content. So we needed to put content out there which was going to attract strangers who didn't know him into his world. And the way I get you to think about top of funnel content is you want to put something out there which, one, makes you stand out, but two, makes it very, very valuable to the person watching. And this might sound harsh, but the way I want you to think about it is a stranger doesn't care about you and they don't care about your clients. They care about themselves and the problems that they have. So how can you look at your ICP, your ideal clients that you want to work with, the problems that you have, how can you give value around it, get their attention and get them to say you're someone worth following? That's essentially what we did. So with that, Ollie essentially got the result of adding a lot of new people into his world. So new followers coming into his world. And then there's going to be obviously more components that come with that when we're getting these new people in, how his content was, how he's building know, like, and trust, how he is nurturing them, the sales process. So you'll see since he started, to get him from, plateaued at 4 to 5k months to up around the 20k per month mark. So yeah, that is everything around leads. So for you to look at this, the way I would kind of get you to think about it, and the question that I would ask yourself, so if you were like auditing, is it a lead issue that you have? I would look at the amount of, let's say, conversations that you're having every day, every week. So how many conversations that you're having, and asking yourself the question, when I kind of go on my Instagram or whatever main platforms that you're using, is there enough activity there with potential leads that with the income goal I have in mind, with the amount of clients I want to sign up, is it realistic from what we're currently at? If it is, if you're like, yeah, my accounts are really busy, there's another issue here, we're going to get onto that. But if you're like, no, it's quite quiet, I don't have many new people coming in, with the current people I have in, they're not really engaged, or maybe I've sold to them before, are there people who were interested before that have died out or kind of gone colder? It's asking yourself that question. So if you said to me now, I'm doing 5k a month, I want to be doing 20k a month or 30k a month, I look at my social media platforms and there's just not that much activity. There's not many conversations happening with potential prospects. Then you have a lead issue. This is the thing that you need to solve. That's going to come in two different facets. It's not always in Ollie's case where we're looking for new people to come in, because you might have a lot of new people, but it might be needing more conversations. For the lead side of things for you, I'd look at it in two kind of ways. One, do we need more like leads just coming into your world, which could be the case, or do we need more conversations? Are we like waiting for people to come to us? Are we creating ways through our content, DM strategy, to actually have the conversations ourselves? So they're the two things I'd be looking at when it comes to your leads. Next up, we have sales. So the funny thing about sales is a lot of people think they have a lead problem when in fact it can be a sales problem. And actually another one of my clients, also called Ollie Wildman, he came to me with a sales problem, but he didn't actually know he had a sales problem. He thought he had a lead problem. How I was able to tell it wasn't a lead problem was because he was the opposite to Ollie Hines. He was getting loads of new people into his pipeline. So as we kind of spoke about with Ollie, we were trying to get people coming in like that. Ollie Wildman was getting a lot of people in. So he was actually getting loads of people in. Before working with me, he was spending quite a lot of money on top of funnel and new follower ads and getting people in. He was having a lot of conversations. So he ended up being quite confused. Why is my income plateaued? So his income was plateaued around 8k per month. And he was there for, I think, 5 to 6 months at the time when he started working with me. And what I could identify was, again, he didn't have a lead problem, because a lot of new people were coming in, a lot of conversations were happening. His issue is that he wasn't converting those people. So the problem that he had was lots of leads were high, convos were high, but conversions were low. So there's a few things we need to look at to improve that. So two main things to look at to actually improve that. The solution was what we were going to do in middle of funnel content and how we're going to nurture the leads there, because obviously there's people who are coming onto this page, they're having conversations, but they didn't have the trust because they weren't turning into clients, or they didn't see Ollie in the authority that he is and that he's known for. They couldn't see that, and they, for whatever reason, weren't at a point where they wanted to work with him. What he was doing, when I spoke about the importance of top of funnel and going out to strangers, if you're only focusing on that type of content, then guess what? You're going to get a lot of attention, a lot of new people coming in, but you're not going to have people wanting to buy your stuff. So this is what was happening with him. So we had to put a huge amount of focus here on the middle of funnel, which is content that goes out to people who are in the audience. If you remember what I said around top of funnel and strangers, I said, it might sound harsh, but strangers don't care about you and they don't care about it. They care about themselves. When they actually come into your ecosystem and come into your world and you're more familiar to them and they know you more, now all of a sudden this is when they do care about you more. And if you were sharing a personal story or if you're sharing a client story, this is when they're gonna listen to it, because you've brought them in, they've seen the value, they see you're someone we're following, and now for you to get them to build trust and build essentially that authority that gets someone to say, yeah, I want you to be my coach, it's gonna come from this personal storytelling, and obviously client case studies, etc., etc. So that was a big focus of ours, was middle of funnel, the sales process. So actually improving the sales process of, if we're having a lot of conversations and people aren't booking in for calls, if people are booking in for calls and we're not converting them, then there's a breakdown in the sales process. So those were the two areas that we worked with. And the result of that, Ollie grew from 8K a month to 50K a month in his coaching business from us literally working on that. Yes, there was more things that needed to happen before the 50K in terms of team hiring and stuff like that. But from breaking through that first bottleneck and then being able to identify through what we said at the start, it's either leads, it's either sales, or it's delivery. That's what we followed with Ollie the whole way through. We went sales, then he signed up a lot of people, then he had a delivery issue. We hired coaches. Now he was able to take on more leads. So the biggest thing that he needed to work on, again, was leads. And then it kind of went around in that circle. He's a perfect example of showing you the 3 buckets of lead, sales, delivery. Focus on one. We focused on sales. We crushed it. Then he had so many clients, he needed help and he needed coaches on board. He had a delivery issue. Now he has 2 coaches under him. And he's like, okay, I want to fill up my coaches. Okay, let's put our focus back on leads again. So it's a perfect example for you of leads, sales, delivery in real time. Third up, delivery. What I want to talk to you about when it comes to delivery is a few different areas. So delivery, I don't know what you think about when I say that word to you, but I'll give you a few examples of where delivery could end up being a bottleneck for you. One, retention. So you're at a point where people are coming on board, but your retention isn't in the best spot. Your churn rate is high with clients. You don't keep them for long enough. And the business always feels heavy because you always feel like you have to replace people in. So retention is going to be a big one. That kind of leads in what can be kind of separate as well to results, because people are going to stay longer when they're getting results. People are going to refer people when they're getting results. So the results that your coaching program actually gets, very, very important. Then when we're thinking about from a revenue perspective, extensions and upsells. So do you have a process in place that can like extend and upsell people well? And then fourthly, a really, really big one is going to be around capacity. So your capacity to take on more people in the business. So I'll have clients, literally just a client that I was voice noting earlier today. They are at a point where they're pretty close to capacity with delivery. They're nervous to take on another coach because they're like, I'm not sure if I have the demand for it. But they also are at a point where they're really, really busy, so they're not doing everything they can. So right now, they might say, oh, I actually don't think I can hire a coach. I have a lead issue. It's like, no, you have a delivery issue disguised as a lead issue. You think it's a lead issue, but it's a delivery issue because you're pretty much at max capacity. So you don't have the time or the mental bandwidth to put in to wanting to actually grow the business and push for more leads and improve your marketing, etc., etc. If we fix delivery, we opened up that time. We had a coach who was available to take on clients. All of a sudden now, the energy you'd put into leads and marketing would see a huge difference. So capacity is a big area here. So with delivery, client I want to talk about is Kian. So when Kian came to me, he was at a point where he was doing a lot of challenges in his business. So the whole business model was kind of based on running campaigns for challenges. This was quite short term. Yes, at the end of it, he would try to sell people onto his one-to-one, but the business felt very heavy. He felt he was putting in so much work for these launches and these challenges. Everything was then like super low ticket. So he was charging low ticket for them. Business felt heavy because he was kind of doing a big launch for it. And then he also felt that it wasn't really consistent because it wasn't something he was doing every month. And yeah, the business, he knew, I'm not making as much money as I could be. The business feels kind of stressful and heavy because I have to do all these launches all the time. It's low ticket, it's high churn because a lot of people just come in for the challenge and leave. So when we started working together, so that was essentially all the problems that he had with it. The solution for us was kind of came in a few steps. So one, it was actually just create a premium offer, which was more long term. So we created a premium offer, which was 6 months in terms of length. So that was the first fix. Now retention and lifetime value has increased massively. Then secondly, it's actually knowing how to upsell those clients when they're coming to the end of the program. So if you have new people coming in, the lifetime value is going to be more. If you then know how to actually even double that by upselling and extending those clients well, later on in the process. That's going to be a huge third thing. And then he got to a point where just alone we were able to double his revenue by him being the solo coach. Business felt a lot lighter, obviously making a lot more, working with better clients, getting better results because he was working with them for a longer time. He was coming into a capacity issue. So our next step up from that was actually hiring 2 coaches in the business. So he now has a team of 2 coaches under him. He has a premium offer of 6 months. He has upsells. Just last quarter, we looked at the business year on year, and Cian was up over 100%. So he was up 101% year on year. So literally doubled the business in the second year. Coach is working for him. Business feels lighter. He's getting better results. He just has a huge amount more of joy for his business because he's getting to work with people that he likes, who takes things more seriously, who actually want long-term coaching. He was pushing for these launches that were low ticket, put a lot of pressure on him to fill them up. He wasn't actually making a huge amount of income for it. He knew he was destined for a lot more. We introduced a high ticket offer. We learned how to get those clients amazing results and deliver an incredible service, to upsell them and get them to extend, by then taking on a team of coaches to help him fulfill and keep up that high level of service, being able to increase his income by over 100% year on year, which is absolutely incredible. Hopefully from going through this so far, you can identify which is the area you need to focus on. Is it a leads issue that you need to focus on? Is it a sales issue that you need to focus on? Or is it a delivery issue? With all the 3 clients that I spoke to you about, in our journey to getting to where they are, there's been segments of this that have come into play that have been the biggest issue. But for us, at each time, it was only focusing on one of them. And that's why they've achieved the results they do. From going through those 3 different journeys, Ollie when it came to leads, Ollie Wildman when it came to sales, or Cian when it came to delivery, hopefully you can identify yourself. Maybe you've resonated with a bit I said on everything, but hopefully you can identify what is the one biggest thing you need to focus on. Is it leads? That's going to be the thing that gets you to your next breakthrough. Is it actually a sales issue? Maybe you came onto that video thinking you had a leads issue, and now you realize you have a sales issue. Or is it a delivery issue? You know you're kind of at capacity and you're holding yourself back from growing the business. What I want for you from this video is not to go away feeling inspired, but to go away where you can identify what is the biggest thing you need to focus on. Maybe you got on the video thinking you have a lead issue, which maybe you still do. Maybe you're like, yeah, I can really resonate with Ollie Hines and I definitely have a lead issue in the business. Okay, you need to solve that. But you could have also gone on the video thinking that you had a lead issue, but now you realize you have a sales issue because there actually is a lot of opportunity on my social media, but I'm just not capitalizing on it. I can resonate with Ollie Wildman because there is conversations happening, there is activity, there is new followers, but for whatever reason, my revenue feels sucked. You know you have a sales process issue that you need to fix. Or maybe you've just been enlightened to the fact that you have a delivery issue. For ages, you've thought the business has been held back because of leads, because you're not busy enough, because there's not enough demand. But now you're realizing, am I so busy with clients that I'm actually not putting the time and effort to grow the business in the way that I could be? So whether it's leads, whether it's sales, whether it's delivery, I want you going away from this knowing what you need to focus on next. And if you want help from myself and my team about helping you achieve results like Ollie or Cian, then you can click below, you can get onto my Instagram, drop me the word Empire, and I'll reach out to you. I provide videos like this because I want you, and I want so many coaches like you, to build incredible businesses. I know the value it brought to my life, I know the value it's going to bring to your life. So if you enjoyed, if you took value from it, please subscribe, and excited to see you on the next one.